NBC's George Lewis is in our London bureau tonight, where he has been following these events. George?
Tom, President Ceaușescu, who's ruled Romania for 24 years, has big problems tonight. The anti-government protests are spreading, the death toll is climbing, and today, when he tried to stage a pro-government rally, it ended in disaster.
The rally had been carefully staged in an attempt to show that Ceaușescu remains the beloved leader of the Romanian people. But the crowd refused to follow the script. Instead of applauding and cheering at the right moments, the people shouted down their president. He paused as the crowd yelled, "Down with Ceaușescu!" A nervous security man appeared, apparently advising Ceaușescu to leave the podium. And then the Romanians abruptly pulled the plug on their live TV coverage of the rally. At the State Department in Washington, a spokesman said U.S. diplomats observed what followed: a violent confrontation between security forces and 10 to 15,000 demonstrators.
The just arrived report from U.S. Embassy Bucharest states that 13 young people were killed by automatic weapons fire from government security forces during a major anti-regime demonstration.
It's hard to know how many people have died since the violence began last weekend because Romania's borders have been closed to outside observers. Some Eastern European news agencies say thousands have been killed. A Polish woman who had just crossed the border into neighboring Hungary offered a dramatic eyewitness account of how troops were firing at the crowds with automatic weapons. Elsewhere in Hungary, people were blowing their horns and flying black flags to protest the bloodshed. Outside the Romanian embassy, other Hungarians were lighting candles to mourn the victims.
One Eastern European news agency carried a report today that provided a chilling illustration of how violent the crackdown is getting. It said that soldiers who refused to fire on crowds of protesters had themselves been rounded up and summarily executed. Tom?
Thank you, George. In Berlin tonight, by contrast, there is still another celebration of freedom. Berliners gathered on both sides of the wall to watch a demolition crew punch through the historic Brandenburg Gate, demolition that began on a smaller scale the night of November 9th.